Hey everybody, welcome back to Franchise Player. And with us being a couple months into 2025, I thought it would be fun to go back to the PS Vita, check out Vita online, see what games are still populated, see if we can find any lobbies. And yeah, I mean, the Vita's getting up there age-wise, so I'm really hoping we can find some players online. And hey, without further ado, let's get right into these games. And first up here, we're going to be hopping into a somewhat controversial PS Vita game, and that is Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 came out for the Vita in May of 2014, which was really, like, in my opinion, the final push of Vita games where PlayStation was at least pretending to try. But, right here, we were trying to find a quick match, seeing if there was anybody online, and was not having any luck here on the match browser. So I don't know if I just got unlucky with the time of day or the day of the week that I did it, because I think when I tried Borderlands 2 here, it was a weekday. So may have got a bad roll of the dice, but at least if you're wanting to play with a friend or anybody like that who might have this game too, you can at least run a game with a friend. So if you can't find anybody, hey, hit up one of your boys, hop into a game of Borderlands 2. PlayStation was really trying to push the release, or I should say the port of Borderlands 2 to Vita. I remember there was even a Borderlands 2 Vita 2000 bundle you could get back in the day. And it was a very ambitious port, but this game got a ton of flack, right? Performance issues. I mean, as you can see here with the gameplay I recorded on my 2000, the game just doesn't look great. And when there's a lot of enemies on screen, you definitely start to have frame rate issues, and there was definitely a lot of downgrades here. Even when you destroy enemies, they kind of just explode and vanish. It's not like there's anything laying on the ground compared to the console version of this game. Borderlands 2 on Vita actually had a pretty cool feature. If you remember, the cross-save feature was something that was really marketed by PlayStation back then. So you were able to, pick up your game save or your game file from your PS3 copy of Borderlands 2 on your Vita. So that was a really cool feature that a lot of games didn't take advantage of. I know MLB The Show, which was a PlayStation exclusive at the time, really took advantage of the cross-save feature. But yeah, I mean, the fact that you could do that, in my opinion, was a selling point. But if you were used to playing the console version of this game and then decided to hop on the Vita version, you were probably going to be a little disappointed. I mean, as you can see here, the enemies don't exactly look great. But, as much as people complain about this game and as much as it does kind of suck in the performance area, I think it's still kind of cool, almost like a novel thing that Borderlands 2 is on the Vita. And I got pretty deep into a playthrough of this on my 1000 and had a good time. So if you can hang with this or Resident Evil Revelations 2 on Vita performance wise, I don't think anything can stop you. So next game that we're giving a shot here is Virtua Tennis 4. After having some bad luck on Borderlands 2, I wasn't going to get too hyped just yet, but I'd actually found a match fairly quick here, which had really shocked me. Rolled with Djokovic here, and it looked like we were playing, I assume, a player out in Japan. So wasn't too sure how the connection was going to be or just the gameplay in general. And what's cool about Virtua Tennis 4 is this was another Vita game that was, pretty close to the console counterpart on PS3. So this was once again kind of showcasing the power that the Vita had. And right off the bat, I mean, the connection in this game looked solid. Mind you, I suck at this game and barely know how to play it. Like, I do like the Virtua Tennis games, but I'm not, like some guy who's super into tennis and really even knows how to play this game. So it took me a little while to get the hang of things here. Ended up scoring on the opponent a couple times, but I was really surprised at how smooth the game was and how fast I was able to actually find an opponent, especially, with how old this game is. It came out, February 15th of 2012. So this game is well over a decade old now, and actually still has people online, which is pretty hard to believe. But yeah, I mean, this was a game that I did not really expect to find that many people on, or at least find a game that fast. I expected to be searching for at least a little while. But yeah, even if you're not a tennis fan, I've always liked the Virtua Tennis games, and might be worth a try. I think tennis is one of those sports, even if you're not into it, it's pretty fun in video game form at least. So yeah, if you're looking for a sports game on Vita or something to maybe change it up a bit from what you've been playing, yeah, Virtua Tennis 4 might be a fun one to check out. So now we're getting into the real meat and potatoes, the game you've probably been waiting for Vita, and that is Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. This game is easily the most populated PS Vita game online, and it's not even remotely close, really. Even back in the heyday of the Vita, this was a game where you could always go on and find online matches, and Really no different today. In this game here, it was a 3v3, and this map is basically shipment from COD 4. So super small map, super fast paced, and most of the maps in this game are quite small, considering the max player size for a match would be a 4v4. Black Ops Declassified came out November 13th of 2012, so that was right around the same time as Black Ops 2 on the home consoles. So I think a lot of people, myself included at the time of when this came out, I think a lot of people were really, really hoping for that home console Call of Duty experience on the go. I mean, at this point, Call of Duty was still insanely popular. I know it is today, but I feel like this was kind of like the tail end of the golden age of COD. And a lot of people were really hoping that this was going to be Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 style game on the go. And unfortunately, it was a really watered down version of Call of Duty. The graphics were not great. The campaign was pretty lackluster. I'm pretty sure it takes less than like an hour to beat. Only issue with the campaign is there's really no checkpoints to my knowledge. But back to the multiplayer. The online for this, I still think is pretty fun. The small maps make it a good time with how fast paced it can get. I would say if there's like a meta for this game, it's like, hey, run a submachine gun, maybe have a couple bouncing betties, and see what you can do. But most of the time when I hop on this game, like when I was playing it over the weekend, recording some gameplay, and just kind of having a good time jumping back onto this, I was able to go into a lot of games that were actually full 4v4 lobbies, and the full 4v4 lobbies were pretty nostalgic. This was a game I played a decent amount back in the day if I was playing the Vita. And it was just cool to see that this game is still so active and it has a dedicated player base. There's a handful of different game modes that you technically can still play online on this, but the only game mode that is still active consistently would be Team Deathmatch. TDM, I never have an issue jumping on pretty much any time of day. Any day of the week you can jump on and at least get a partially filled, if not entirely full lobby, which is really cool. What's kind of crazy, especially for how bad this game actually reviewed, was that it was a top 3 best-selling Vita game. So this game sold a ton of copies, at least for Vita standards, and made it into the top 3. I think the top 3, if I remember correctly, are Uncharted Golden Abyss, Assassin's Creed, and then Black Ops Declassified. So just kind of goes to show, how powerful the name brand of Call of Duty was back then, even with a game like this that just reviewed terribly, pretty much compared to any other Call of Duty ever released prior to it. But I will say, this game is still fun to play if you're itching to get on your Vita and play online. I think Black Ops Declassified is definitely worth your time. If you don't have a modded Vita, this game is, fairly cheap to pick up if you want a physical copy. But, I'd say just a couple things. If this game had a full-fledged zombies mode, I think that definitely would have helped its case. And if they didn't try to rush this out, if they would have taken their time and tried to get something a little more polished, even like half as polished as Killzone Mercenaries, I think this game would have reviewed significantly better and probably held up, way better than it does today. Not saying this is like a terrible game. I guess objectively it is, but I've had a good time playing Black Ops Declassified, and I think it's a fun one. If anyone's down to hop on and run some games with this, put your PSN below or feel free to add me. And I'd love to run some games and maybe populate some of the other game modes if we can, whether that's, free-for-all or kill confirmed, drop zone, whatever we can. Would love to get it active and just kind of relive some Vita memories. And last but not least here, we have Need for Speed Most Wanted, which came out October 30th of 2012, right alongside the console counterparts. And one thing I'll say is this game looked almost identical to the console counterpart, in my opinion. Obviously, it was a little watered down compared to the PS3 version, but on the go in 2012, this was a pretty good looking game. So right here, I tried to find a public game here on Need for Speed and was not having a ton of luck. I tried multiple times, multiple different lobbies, different times of the day, and for whatever reason could not find anyone, which was a little frustrating because there's a YouTube short I did, I think that came out like end of 2023 is when I uploaded it, and I was actually playing this online. I'd found 2 other people and was in a lobby, which, that's not even 2 years ago. So I'm really hoping that the community for this is not completely dead because, this is a game that, like I said, is pretty much equivalent to the console counterpart, pretty fun to have on the go, and would be a really fun one to play online. So, once again, if anyone's down to play this online or meet up, maybe set up a game night, I'm super down because this is a fun one on Vita. So yeah, unfortunately couldn't find anyone on Need for Speed, which Definitely was a little surprising considering not too long ago I was able to find a lobby. But, in regards to other Vita games you can still play online that are populated, I know the first Helldivers is populated just due to the fact you can play it through crossplay on Vita, PS3, and PS4. So that's a game that's still active. I've heard rumors that the Minecraft on Vita is still active too. I downloaded it, and for whatever reason on my modded Vita, it wouldn't load the game, so I couldn't even try it. But from what I've heard, there's still people on that. But yeah, as for Vita games, there's not too many left that actually have an active community. So, once again, if you're itching to play the Vita, highly recommend going online while you still can, because, there's going to be less and less people, it seems, by the day at this point. But yeah, guys, that'll pretty much do it for today's video. I still love the Vita. It's sad that the online is kind of like a wasteland at this point. It's sad. Black Ops Declassified is really the only game that still has like a huge player base where you can always jump in and find games, if we're not including some of those like cross-play games that we're able to play with PS3 and PS4. So yeah, it's sad. The Vita, like I've always said in prior videos when I talk about the Vita, a ton of missed opportunity with this system. Absolutely love the Vita. So many great games on this console, and I would love to see Sony do another handheld one day. I think they could learn from some of their mistakes and take some things that they've seen with the Switch and what's made that so successful, and throw that into their next handheld. But let me know if you still play the Vita online. Let me know if there's any Vita games you still play, or if you think there's any games that I missed for online that might still be active. I know on r/Vita on Reddit, they occasionally try to set up game nights for some games. I think like the Sonic All-Stars Racing game, they occasionally do game nights for that where you can jump on and play. So, if you're wanting to play this online, there definitely is still some games that have servers up, but you might have to set them up with buddies or try to meet some people online where you can actually set matches up. But yeah, as usual, appreciate you guys for watching. Long live the Vita, and we'll catch you soon with another video.